So once you validated your layout that it does work, we need to go and add some additional code to that layout to render those regions in a nicer way and use those style sheet elements that we've defined that are attached to the layout. So just to review that, if I go back to my workspace, this is a little bit different from how I was showing you before, and it's really more in line with current practice because it separates look and feel from structure, and that's fairly important to do. So if I look at my layouts um, right now, I've got RL default layout, and that's just going and finding all the files associated to the layout and rendering them so that we can present the regions that are defined on the template in a nice way. And it's pointing to a style sheet, sites custom style.css. This is the same CSS I've been using before that I sent you last time. It uses the ESC layout for Society of Cardiology. Um, but I'm just going to validate those paths, and I'm going to go to my file system and maybe make some changes. So here's my RL default layout. I want to make sure my style is in the same path under Sites Custom. This is the same style sheet we were using before, but we'll use it in a slightly different way, a better way. I'm going to edit my code, and I'm going to get rid of anything here that I don't need. For example, this one big piece here is not very useful to us. It's just going and rendering all the regions. And what we want to do is render that in the way we were doing before. So just to show you an example that I've already prepared, and I'll send this to you as well, is I've added the code to support rendering or finding the style sheet in the layout. And then I put in the same code we've always been using. It's a 4-region layout using the ESC style. And we'll just do that. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare that and then add that to our RL default layout. So here I can just borrow that code and I'll send this to you. And then save that. So what this is doing again, it is finding all the style sheets or JavaScript associated to the page layout and then applying that to the regions. So the mapping is between the class or element names here and the style sheet elements defined in style.css. But let's see if it works. So if I go to preview now and I click on the preview button for my site, it should pick up that style sheet and those regions, and it should lay them out appropriately in the right place. So if I go into page mode, I should see my content region there. If I go into design mode, I should see all of my locked regions in the right place. And you won't see them until you apply the layout to the template as well as to the page. So when you're adding a new template, you need to go into the a layout. You normally should go into the template and apply it at the template layer so that it knows what to do. So now that it's on the template layer, I can see all my regions in the right place. I can leave the template layer, or I can go back into it, because the next step is adding components to those regions. So now that the page layout is tested, I can start adding components. I can leave my, I can go into my template layer, edit by editing the template. You'll notice the template layer, the first option, doesn't let you do much. You can add a component, but really a better way to do this is to go into the page mode inside the template layer. A little weird because you have to leave design mode, go into page mode. We're still in the template, right? But I'm going to insert some new components. So I'm going to go to component types and I'm going to go put in all the components I need to make my page work. So for example, I've got a navigation component I need to add. So navigation is allowed here at the top, and I'll just accept the default settings for that. There's a banner region, which is a smart list, so I'm going to add a smart list to that banner region. And we'll set the list size to 1 for the moment, and we'll save and close. There's a content region in the middle. That's going to be a content item. So I don't have any content yet, so maybe I can create one. So I'll create a content instance, or maybe for the moment I will leave that alone and I'll add that later. And then right below it is our footer. So our footer might be a text component, something simple. And I'll just put, this is the footer. And then I'll save and close. I just want to add a few components to those template scoped regions just to kind of get things going. And then leave the template to see how things look. So there it's picking up some existing content. There our channels are there. I can go into the page mode and start adding new channels. I can reuse that template and start adding new channels. So I can do an about page really quick, right? I can go back to the home page and add all the other pages I might want to use. So I'll just do an about, we'll do a products, we'll do about us, all of the things that you might need for your site. So I'll do a few more channel pages just to show you. So home, about, products, customers, maybe I need a customer page below the home channel. And there we go.